Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Lacey, Washington, and the campus of St. Martin's University. We are at Marcus Pavilion. My name is Scott Gladstone. Alongside me is Sean Wally. We're about to get ready to go a little bit earlier than usual for a 5:15 tip. The game is between St. Martin's and Western Oregon. There's a lot of things happening tonight. We'll get to that in a second. But first, Sean, the last time these two teams met here, it was the GNAC quarterfinals. It was a game you called a crazy game, a crazy upset. Take me through a little bit of that game because it was wild.
The number 9 seed in March, Western Oregon, upset the host and the top seed, St. Martin's, 72-70, final 4 seconds, three-pointer by Cranston, game, set, and match.
That's one emotional kind of playing in this game. Another thing, we have the banner drop. That's going to come up in just a few moments. 24 seconds to be exact, because I'm watching the clock kind of count down. So that's the first thing you're going to see, the banner drop from the regular season championship for the St. Martin Saints, their second ever as they won last year. And then after the national anthem, there'll be a moment of silence after the sudden passing of former St. Martin's athletic director of 37 years, Bob Grisham. We'll talk more about that on the other side and Bob Grisham's legacy probably throughout the night and kind of the emotions that have played over the last 2 weeks here at St. Martin's University. Until then, please just stay with us. We'll keep an open mic so you can see these ceremonies. We will have GNAC basketball coming right up here on the Saints Digital Network.
GNAC regular season banner is unveiled at Marcus Pavilion. After being picked to finish 9th in the preseason GNAC polls, wasn't ready for that. But by the start of February, they had lost just 2 games in the conference and were sitting atop the standings. However, 3 straight losses in early February saddled the Saints with ground to make up. They did exactly that and railed off 4 straight crucial wins to secure the crown for their second ever regular season GNAC championship. Now it's time to drop the banner and give one more ovation to the success of the 2021-2022 St. Martin's men's basketball team. Please feel free to count down with me. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Congratulations to the Saints on the start of many more to come. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask you rise if you are able, remove your hats, and join us as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'd like to turn over the mic to longtime St. Martin's announcer, Adolfo Capistrani, and his message about our beloved Bob Griffin. Ladies and gentlemen, the St. Martin's family is mourning the loss of former athletic director Bob Grisham, who passed away unexpectedly on Sunday, January 22nd. Bob served as SMU athletic director for over 37 years, as well as the head men's basketball coach for 17 years, and head men's women's golf coach for 20 years. St. Martin's head men's basketball coach, Aaron Lander, remembers him like this: Bob Grisham will always be Coach Grisham to us. We'll always be connected to the values he taught us about the bigger picture and what it means to be a Saint. Bob was patient and made us feel loved when we faced hard days. He also knew how to celebrate a win and understood the unique joy that comes in victory. Tonight, we hung a banner celebrating the 21-22 regular season GNAC championship. Bob was a huge part of that championship run and will forever be part of his legacy. He left St. Martin's as a champion and tragically left the world way too soon. On behalf of everybody in our program, we send our love and prayers to the family of Bob Grisham. This time, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise and join us in a moment of silence to honor the life and legacy of Bob Grisham. Thank you. Let's go ahead and meet the starters for Western Oregon. A 6'4" senior, 0 is Yasani Clay. A 6'4" junior, number 1, J.L. Collins. A 6'7" junior, number 23, is Cameron Denzel. Number 30, the 6'6" senior, is Cameron Cranston. And the 6'10" senior, number 34, John Morel Keller. West Pine head coach, assisted by Brian Fisher and Michael Harmon. Alex Saban.
Welcome back here to Marcus Pavilion, ladies and gentlemen. About 10 minutes or so of events leading up to this. Of course, mentioned the dropping of the banner as well as a moment that you could literally hear nothing but silence to honor the life and legacy of former St. Martin's athletic director of over 37 years, Bob Grisham, who passed away unexpectedly just over 2 weeks ago. It has been an emotional few weeks on the campus for all St. Martin's players, but especially head coach Aaron Landon and his team. They have won both their games last week, and now they're playing back at home, the first home event since the passing of Bob Grisham, and the first shot in this contest is a missed shot by Kyle Greeley. But that is one of the emotional things that is ringing around this arena. Of course, on top of the basketball that is being played is right there, Cameron Cranston. Back-to-back, I guess, he has three-pointers against SMU in this gym.
Cranston has hit his last 2 three-pointers taken, of course, the first one in March to send the Saints home.
Ended the Saints season last season. It's not, I don't think many people would disagree, that's a nice post move by Shaquem Alcindor. I don't think many people would disagree that that loss not only ended their GNAC tournament championship hopes, but it firmly cemented their resume below the bar needed to make the NCAA tournament, losing to a Western Oregon team that up to that point had not done much throughout the season, and that's the reason they were the number 9 seed in the GNAC tournament. This ball's down low, more post battles. Stepping out of bounds is number 34, John Morrell-Keeler. Starting lineups for each side tonight. Western Oregon has Clay, Collins, Benzel, Cranston, and Morrell-Keeler. On the other side, it's a fairly usual, at least what we've seen kind of lately, Bunn, Greeley, Jaden Nielsen-Skinner, Hunter Sipe, and Shaquem Alcindor. Hunter Sipe in the post and off the window. 4-3, first Saints lead of the night. Pull up, flush down by Yosani Clay.
Western Oregon comes in winning 4 straight, one of the hotter teams in the GNAC. This is definitely the game of the night.
Hunter Sipe off glass. We'll talk about some of the GNAC picture later in the night as it is slowly starting to develop. A tournament that you'll be on hand for, calling the games of up in Bellingham at the start of next month. Just about a month from today, maybe? Yep.
Exactly a month. It's coming up quick.
Down low, that one was slapped away from Cameron Benzel by Jaden Nielsen-Skinner. Outsized, but not outmatched. Hunter Sipe for 3. Crowd would have loved that one to go down. Would have been 7 straight from Hunter Sipe. This one's cross court. A little hesitation, and then a floater going to go off the front of the rim. Kyle Greeley the rebound.
As you'd expect, these two teams even so far.
The St. Martin's season essentially will be decided by the next 7 days. Brandon Bunn for 3. Can't get it to go. Rebound goes to Benzel. Not only do they have a very hot Western Oregon team today, next Thursday they have Seattle Pacific, who's been skidding as of late. As this is put up and in from Morrell-Keeler. Nice move from him. And then 1 week from today, a highly regarded matchup, MSU Billings and St. Martin's University. That one, other things could change, of course, depending on what happens tonight, next Thursday, and beyond next Saturday. But that game almost looks like a regular season GNAC title game. High off glass, but too much glass, no rim. Missed shot there. 6-7 is our score in favor of Western Oregon. Cranston brings it down. Gets it to Collins. Collins goes under the hoop and floats it up off front iron as it rolls in.
You know, Western Oregon stayed on the floor to see the Saints regular season GNAC title banner drop. Some bulletin board material, some, hey guys, this is what we want to do in Monmouth.
That was a missed shot. Rebound goes the way of the Western Oregon Wolves, and there was a tie-up. I think they're just going to blow the whistle as a timeout for the Saints. It's a weird little tie-up, but a 3 on the other way, and it's 12-6. Western Oregon comes out of the gates quicker. We will take a short break. We'll be right back on the Saints Digital Network.
Physical therapist and owner of Inspire Physical and Hand Therapy. This season, Inspire has joined the St. Martin's family as presenting sponsor of the St. Martin's men's basketball program. Please join us in thanking Dr. Sipe and all of those at Inspire Physical and Hand Therapy for the support as we present them with a game ball signed by members of the SMU men's basketball team. Thank you, Dr. Sipe. and inspired. Physical and hand therapy.
Welcome back here. It's 12-6. Western Oregon, after going down 6-5, has gone on a 7-0 run and currently have a 12-6 lead, doubling up the Saints in the early going. St. Martin's ball as Tyke Thompson steps on the floor for the first time. And so does Nate Stokes. Missed shot is rebounded by the Saints. Now it's Tyke Thompson with it. Tyke Thompson, a little step through. He can't get it to go. Offensive rebound, Brandon Bunno. He had it for a second. He's claiming that it was tipped out of his hand, but the referee over the top of it will say that it is Wolves ball. Wolves led by Wes Pfeiffer. Assistant coaches are Brian Fisher, Michael Harmon, and Alex Sandon. On the other side, of course, Aaron Landon, third-year head coach of the Saints. Nearly a travel there. And the ball is lost. Saints heading the other way, led by Skinny, Jaden Nielsen Skinner. The Salem trio of Tyke Thompson, Jaden Nielsen Skinner, and Kyle Greeley all on the floor. And Tyke Thompson, one of those Salem natives, puts it in the bottom of the net.
Normally we're used to the Saints, wow, throwing that to the crowd.
Thinking alley-oop. Instead, it's somebody in the student section. We're almost in baseball season. There's a few SMU baseball players, but that looked more like a fly ball.
We've seen the Saints shoot the lights out here in Marcus Pavilion. Not happening so far in the first half, just 36%.
Brandon Bunn with it. He drives the lane. Can't get it over Cranston. Rebound Wolves. Nice hook shot. Lefty from John Marill Keeler, Port Orford, Oregon native. Now it's to Tyke Thompson under the hoop. He gets it to Stokes. Stokes behind the back. Kyle Greeley flushes it.
Great vision from Stokes and selflessness. He was point blank, said, okay, you can have it, and a steal.
Press does its job, and Tyke Thompson from half court to the bottom of the basket. Saints back within one. Behind the back doesn't go well for Cranston, but he survives it. Gets it to Collins, who now has it to Clay. Clay guarded by Jaden Nielsen Skinner. Tomball, Texas is where Yasani Clay calls home. One of 2-3 Texans on this team. Nice pass there, and Nathaniel Stokes, rejection city.
Great pass.
3 on the shot clock. They need to get a shot up. Clay's going to fire from long range. Can't get it to go. And Stokes keeps it in, and then it's slapped away out of bounds by Guanaji.
2 great plays back-to-back. The pass, the rejection by Stokes. These teams are ready to play.
Yeah, it's those types of, hustle plays, smart plays. That's what you see in a game that, clearly the crowd is filling out right now, and neither team is going to let this one slip away from them easy. I'm sure Wes Pfeiffer knew all the emotion that was going to be at play today and realized that his team is going to have a tall task to come in and try and play through it. Missed shot by Jaden Nielsen Skinner. Rebound Wolves.
Sports are a game of inches. That ball looked good. Hit most of the rim. Popped out.
Missed layup. Put back is in. And that's Cameron Benzel. 12 and a half minutes to go here in the first half. Skinny putting a little skates on, getting it to Tyke Thompson. Tyke Thompson is guarded well, so he's going to pull it out with 13 on the shot clock. Now it's Skinny looking to Stokes. Stokes, not too much of a back-to-basket post player, but he's going to pull out a move. Can't get it to go. Rebound to the Wolves and Gwanagi. Setting it up on the floor is R.J. Velez, excuse me. Shot on the way from three-point land, and that's Carson Frinke that puts it down the hatch. 19-13, timeout, St. Martin's University. We're going to take another break here. After the Saints went on a run, the Wolves bit back. We'll be right back. Back here, it is 19-13. The St. Martin Saints are trailing the Western Oregon Wolves here in late season. Maybe not late season. We're between a half and 3/4 of the way through the season right now.
It's gone by quick.
Yeah, it has.
November, gone.
Yeah.
Here we are. February. I almost said March.
Speaking of that, the Saints, I was reminded today, have only lost one game at home. It was the Academy of Art game that they lost the day after Thanksgiving, as this one is up and in from Cameron Benzel.
You know, Coach Wes Pfeiffer and the Wolves made a smart decision. They didn't play Thursday, just like the Saints.
Christian Hafner from three-point land.
They came up yesterday, so they had extra time to relax, didn't have to worry about the travel today, hang out at the hotel, get their meals in, get their workout in. Smart move by Coach Wes Pfeiffer.
Yeah, making sure he's prepared. He knows that Marcus Pavilion, when it's loud, when it's packed like it is tonight, one of the most hardest places in the GNAC to play. Wraparound pass does not go as planned. Intercepted by the Saints. Skinny with it, bringing it up. Skinny now to the rack. Kick out to Sipe. Sipe rotates around. Hafner from three. He misses. Skinny is in there for the rebound, but he is knocked to his behind, and the ball was off of him.
It's how the first half has gone for St. Martin's. You're close. You're there for the rebound. You're there for the three-pointer. Just a tick off.
21-16 is our score right now. St. Martin's 1 of 4, their last 4 field goals. For those who don't know, the GNAC standings right now is the Saints they're trying to add to the banner that they put up tonight, and they are in the running to possibly put up another one, as that was Nathaniel Stokes kind of lost himself on the help there. That was kind of weird, where R.J. Velez was able to go for a fairly easy layup, 23-16, a touchdown lead for Western Oregon.
Got to be wondering where the defense was on that last play for St. Martin's.
Tyke Thompson with it now. He kicks it to Hafner. 7 on the shot clock right now. Skinny trying to create some space. Great defense. And then he floats it up and in. Man, I mean, Dyson Hughes couldn't have played much better defense there, but Skinny still so crafty with the ball and then floats it for 2. The GNAC men's basketball standings right now, as I mentioned, Saints trying to chase another regular season title. Would be their 3rd in team history, as this one's to Benzel. That's going to be short, but an offensive rebound briefly. Ball on the ground, bodies flying. It ends up with the Wolves. That was good hustle from Carson Frinke to keep it away from Hafner. Pulls up for 3. That is Dyson Hughes, the Inglewood, California native, that gets it. Then a steal down the other way. 26-18 our score. Wolves looking to add to it. Would have pushed it to double digits if that one would have fallen. Here's a weird stat. This might be the latest into a game that I've ever seen no fouls called on either side. And especially a game where it's, kind of a rivalry. There's emotion at play. Kind of weird, as Tyke Thompson puts it in. 26-20 is our score.
Wonder if the officials check that their whistles work. Very unusual.
The thing is, I haven't seen much that has, maybe there's been some kind of rebounds that have been contested on either side, but other than that, it's not like I think there should be some that should have been asked for. That's a great cut, and I thought I was going to jinx it there, but a body hits the floor, no call, we're heading the other way. Skinny just said something very emotionally. Hunter Sipe for 3. Whatever he said seemed to work. Saints within 1 possession. Let me get to what I was trying to say. GNAC, MSUB right now is at top of the conference with an 11-1 record. St. Martin's 9-2, so they're technically a game and a half back because they got the bye week this week. This long 3 is missed. Rebound Hunter Sipe. Seattle Pacific's at 9-4, and Western Oregon at 6-5 is the only other team with a 2 running record. Hunter Sipe can't get the 3 to go. Rebound Benzel. Northwest Nazarene with a winning record at 6-6 is still in the GNAC tournament picture. And right now it's a battle essentially between Western Washington, Central Washington, and Alaska for the final spot. But of course 6-6 Nazarene factored in there. Maybe even 3-8 Alaska Anchorage is in the mix as well. This one poked away briefly, still with the...
2 to shoot.
Yeah, they got to shoot. They got to fire something up. Can't get it to go. Rebound, Hunter Sipe. Hunter Sipe listed at 6'4", but he plays like he is 6'8" sometimes. And there is our first foul call of the evening at the 6:59 mark in the first half.
13 minutes. No fouls called.
My type of game. We're going to take a quick break. It's 26-23 free throws upcoming when we come back on the Saints Digital Network. Back here is 26-23 in the early going as St. Martin's and Western Oregon are battling here. Their second matchup of the season. They played once down in Monmouth, and it was handled not easily by the Saints, but they had a lead, and they had it pretty much the whole way. It was emphasized by a Brandon Bunn dunk where he nearly jumped out of the gym. But the asterisk on that game is that Cameron Cranston, who we know is a factor in the matchup between the Saints and the Wolves, Cameron Cranston did not play. He has been struggling with an injury most of this year. I think it happened maybe on New Year's Eve is when he picked up the knock, and the Saints met the following week with the Wolves.
Cranston is back, as you've seen, but Western Oregon missing a few players this evening. Myers, Salinas, and McIntyre not dressed, not playing.
Yeah, Keont Myers took a shot on a hard screen at the end of the Western Oregon-Western Washington game last Saturday, a week ago. And he's still out, as that one was a perfectly drawn-up play and a little lackluster defense by the Saints that allowed JaVale Collins to just take it all the way to the rack. Pull up from Skinny, he misses. Rebound goes to Collins. Champ Spencer on the floor for the first time. This one's kicked out. Long ball missed. And it's out of bounds off of the Wolves. I don't know about that one. Looked like Champ Spencer definitely has the size on Dyson Hughes, but according to our ref, it touched Mr. Hughes last. Just over 6 minutes to go here in half number one. One foul called here in the early going, as that's going to be passed for possibly a pick six. Instead, it will be a pick two free throws, as the interception from Dyson Hughes is resulting in the first foul of the game for the Saints on the Saints.
Hughes got hacked on the layup attempt, and it took a second for the official to catch up and blow the whistle. I was like, come on, you have to call that one.
They haven't got their whistle practice today, as much as sometimes, both teams are in the double bonus by this point in some games.
How far behind the line he is.
That is interesting. He just took a couple small steps back.
Like, what is that? 18 inches?
Yeah, that's a foot at least. Hey, some people like a challenge. He made both of them.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But he better not be short on those shots.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of those where if you have a funky shot or anything, your coach says, "I'll let you do it until it don't work." Worked there, 30-27. Tyke Thompson for three.
It's a good sign, just what the Saints doctor ordered.
I don't know. He might have turned around and looked right at Wes Pfeiffer, and the Western Oregon bench. I don't think he said anything because they're pretty close to tee somebody up. This is nearly an over and back from Collins dribbling around. But he definitely took some pleasure in popping that one right in front of the bench, and now we're going to see a foul called on Thompson and two shots for the Wolves. Cranston going to the line here. Cranston was on limited minutes last week in those games at Western Oregon, as well as at Simon Fraser, and they're going to discuss and continue to say that it's two shots. Aaron Landon will protest, but likely to no avail since the refs already talked about it. Cranston, he's going to put his toe right on that line and miss it.
To the delight of the mostly St. Martin's faithful here inside Marcus Pavilion. A decent crowd on hand, but most likely a few from the Monmouth area made the trek.
Yeah.
One of the shorter trips for Western Oregon fans.
Yep.
Look out.
This one's to the rack. Marcus Lenker lays it in. Saints within two. That call where the ref said that it was a shooting foul and allowed Cranston to shoot two shots, sometimes I've said this before, sometimes it's calls like that the crowd disagrees with that kind of gets them going. Both shots were missed. Now it's coming the other way. Saints can tie this game. They will not on that one. Ball's knocked around. Rebound, Champ Spencer. And then I believe it was Clay that kind of kept boxing out Spencer even though he had the ball. And so a foul will be called. It will not be two shots, and I don't think there'll be much of a discussion about the possibility of that one.
It's great defense by Cranston. His long body getting those long arms up, not fouling, definitely affecting the shot attempt.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that even when teams that aren't necessarily, as this was a high ball up in the air, caught by Tyke Thompson off the inbound, Skinny's going to get it. You mentioned it's a short drive for Western Oregon, shorter than all of their other trips, at least driving-wise. As Skinny goes for three. Wow, he rainbowed that in over Muriel Keeler. Saints got the 31-30 lead now.
Saints' first lead since 6-5.
6-5, and that was right when the 12-0 run went on by the Wolves. See if they can answer this lead with another run. They missed that shot. Offensive rebound, strong from Cranston to put it back up, left hand off glass.
That was a man rebound.
That was.
Manly rebound.
That's what you do when you give up the lead, I guess. You go a little bit harder for that, and you get it. And now it's Tyke Thompson. He tries to get it over Morrell Keeler, and he cannot do it successfully. Wolves running the other way. I mentioned even though Western Oregon doesn't have to travel far, most teams, even the Alaska schools that have to travel super far, they still have people that have roots, as Cranston puts that up and in. They still have a couple Seattle natives or a couple Seattle area natives, as Tyke Thompson's going to make the ref aware of the fact he thought he was fouled there.
Aaron Landon letting him know as well.
Kyle Greeley on the bench ready to come in. Morrell Keeler, they're picking on him. As the last 3 possessions they've tried to shoot on him, 2 shots over him, one of them made, one of them missed. That one they attacked on Morrell Keeler, and Skinny burned by him and laid it in.
If you're the Wolves, I don't know how you don't switch right there.
Yeah.
You can't have the big man guarding Speedy.
Cranston off back iron, rebound offensive from Collins. He's guarded by Skinny. Now it's Champ Spencer guarding Morrell Keeler. Double comes, and it's going to be a walk. If I'm Wes Piper, I am giving a breather to Morrell Keeler. Well, everybody's going to get a breather. We'll see if he comes out off the bench after this media timeout. Don't go anywhere. It's 34-33 with 2:53 left. Back here, 2:53 left, 34-33, as the Saints will have a chance to take the lead coming down the court right now. Morrell Keeler is given a break after the Saints kind of found him as a picking point defensively, and then offensively he was forced into travel, and I think a part of that, as Kyle Greeley gets that one partially blocked, but they say he got a little bit of a high five from Valise, and they're going to send him to the line for 2.
If the Saints clean up one thing at halftime, rebounding, that'll be a big help. They're being out-rebounded 19-11, and just that number alone, it's a good thing, and a little surprising the Saints are within 1.
Another thing, even though they haven't done it very much, free throws might be something to talk about. They've only shot 3, but they have missed all 3. KG, Kyle Greeley, can give them a tie with a make, and he does. Their first made free throw. We're all knotted at 34s apiece right now. Offensive rebounding is at 5-2 in favor of Western Oregon University. Both Aaron Landon and Tyler Velasquez saw something there, and they started screaming. Collins with it, guarded by Skinny. Collins will float it up. Back iron, another offensive board, and that one's up and in. 6 offensive boards for the Wolves to just St. Martin's 2. They're going to call that one a foul on the post-up. That's another one on Belize. And the Wolves in attendance will be voicing their displeasure at that call. 2 minutes to go, 2:01 left, as Belize will check out with 3 fouls, actually. There's been 6 fouls called today. He has half of them.
And they've all been called in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah. That's a stat line, filling up your stat line, I guess, when you're out there. Kyle Greeley for 2. We're tied again at 36. This one's kicked out. 3. Good look and a good splash from Yosani Clay.
He does a 360 and looks at the Saints bench.
Well, you might have seen that Brandon Bunn no-look shot that Brandon Bunn had a couple weeks ago. And
he hasn't played a ton tonight.
Bunn, yeah, he has
just
not
8
actually.
minutes.
Yeah, it's a little bit rare. We've seen him shuffled in and out of the starting lineup as Kyle Greeley gets some space for himself and gets a foul there. I'll tell you what, the fact that we haven't seen a lot of fouls called, I did not think that one was going to be called because it looked like Kyle Greeley initiated the contact. I was pretty surprised based off the threshold that we've been given, but if you're a Saints fan, you'll take it.
The pendulum has swung the other direction in the last 6 minutes.
39-39 is our score right now. Kyle Greeley, he's 3 for 4 from the field. Saints are shooting 52%, Western Oregon 53%. Steal by Kyle Greeley. He's just going to take it himself and turn it up the court. Nobody's going to stop him. He's going to get it to Tyke Thompson, who's wide open and turns around, puts it off glass. It's a Saints lead with under a minute to go. Collins guarded by KG. Marcus Linker getting some precious minutes and doing pretty well on there. That one, he might have got a piece of that, but at least him and both him and KG affected the shot. It came up short. Skinny, coast to coast. Oh, got it to go.
What a drive by Nielsen Skinner, giving the Saints a 4-point lead. Just 18 seconds left in the half.
I talk about Hunter Sight playing like he's 6'8" when he is rebounding. I'll tell you what, Skinny sometimes plays like he's 7 foot when he's attacking the basket, just his way that he's able to put it up and in. We'll stay with you for the final timeout here, as I think Western Oregon just got into a use it or lose it situation, so they're going to use that timeout that they would have lost at the halftime break. 43-39 right now. You mentioned the pendulum swinging from the early part. You come out and get a bucket here and go into the locker room. And for Western Oregon, you mentioned SMU offensive rebounding that they're allowing from Western Oregon, as well as just rebounding in general. Western Oregon-wise, what can you say that will be a part of their locker room conversation, Sean?
Well, continue to own the glass. They're up 20-12 over St. Martin's, and they're shooting 51%. So that's a recipe that's doing them well. Problem is the Saints are now shooting much better than they were. They're shooting 54%, So they're starting to shoot much better. Shooting percentage starting to come a little bit down for Western Oregon from where it was. They just have to keep on going and use Cranston. He sat the last few minutes, hence they're down 4 as we head to halftime.
They force a miss out of JaVale Collins to end the first half. Great defense there, 5 3-pointers apiece. And for a St. Martin's team that shoots a lot of threes, that's always a number to watch. Feel free to stick around, watch our halftime competition that we got going. It's the first ever edition of the Saints 3-2-1 Triple Threat presented by O'Blarney's. But if you're not going to stick around, feel free to have your bathroom break, get a snack, and we'll see you right back here for half number 2 on the Saints Digital Network. The Saints lead the Wolves by 4 at the break.
Stay tuned for the Ceremonies. As soon as we get set up, our first two contestants in round one will be Austin versus Barb. Okay, let's see if I can explain this. Here's how it works. Contestants will need to make 3 baskets, starting with the first one, with the first shot must be taken from the 3-point line. The second one must have the first shot at the free throw line, and the third one must have the first shot to be a goal. After that, they make all 3 no matter where they want to go. They'll then move to soccer, where they need to make 2 goals from different distances. Finally, they'll head over to the football station, where they need to hit the frame with a pass. Where's Barb? Barb is on the north side of the street. There she is. Hey, where's Barb? Got Austin. Wait for the crowd. All right. So here we go. I'll tell you who wins what happens. Ready, set, go! Getting a lot of air out there. He was throwing ventilation system. Now to the football. The 49ers need a quarterback. Come on, Austin, you can still do this. Come on, you can do it. Those things are impossible to throw, I know. Let's be PG. So there's our first one. Barb is our winner in the first round.
Just decided to awaken the beast in the last 2 minutes.
This time we're putting a little pressure on Brittany and Jason as we're going to put 1 minute on the clock. Brittany, you ready? So. How about you, Jason? You ready? All right. On the count of 3, 2, 1, go! You can do this! Come on, Brittany! You're welcome! I would. Oh, she's going right for the football. There's one. It's a woman's world. Congratulations to Barb and Brittany, our Saints 3-2-1 triple threat champion, presented by O'Brien.
We're back here. There's about 30 seconds to go before the start of the second half. Talk a little bit about the first half. We had, in terms of points, Ty Thompson leading the way for both sides with 11 on the St. Martin side. Also, Jaden Nielsen-Skinner with 9, KG with 9. He turned on at the end of the half. And Hunter Sipe with 7. On the other side, it was Collins with 9, Cameron Cranston with 7, and then the next after that was Clay and Hughes with 5 apiece. A 43-39 scoreline there in the first half. Scott Gladstone and Sean Wally with you, and I'm going to send it over to Sean Wally. He's going to do play-by-play for half number 2, and it's going to be an exciting half.
Change it up a little bit here on the Saints Digital Network. Scott took care of the first half very well.
Well,
changed the roles here, and
the thing is, I'm just worried that this might jinx it for St. Martin's, because the last time you called the second half between these two teams, it was a great game. A neutral had a lot of fun. A St. Martin's fan did not have a lot of fun watching that one.
Well, the one thing I'll say is, if I was the problem, I got brought back. So
yeah.
Maybe not.
And I mean, they've only lost one home game this year. St. Martin's men's team have.
Scott, looking at the numbers, they are entirely even. The difference in the 4 points, 2 more made baskets by the Saints. And there we start a 3-ball for Western Oregon, as they are within 43-42. Can the Saints answer? 30 seconds gone by here in half number 2. And Scott, this says quite a bit about Wes Pfeiffer and his Wolves, because if the Saints really are a top team in the region, as Hunter Sipe drops the triple, Western Oregon's playing right with them again, just like they did in March.
Yeah, we saw the struggle when Cameron Cranston went out. They dropped a couple games there that I'm sure they would have wanted to have back, but now with Cranston seemingly 100% healthy and maybe a couple other key injuries, they are still showing what they can do with the momentum they built up over the past couple games for them.
Moriel Keeler on the block. Doesn't like what he sees. Cranston wants the foul, doesn't get it. Bunn, only 8 minutes in the first half. We'll see how much he plays here in the second. That shot will not go. Collins, the rebounds. He's a rebounding machine tonight. That is his 6th rebound. Cranston gets the foul called this time. Brandon Bunn commits the foul. That is his first. Went over 13 minutes to start the game with no fouls, and quickly a foul in the second half. Cranston falls down. No foul called. Moriel Keeler tracks down the loose ball. Collins in the corner. Moriel Keeler. Cross court, Cranston. He is left-handed. The nice drive in the lane. Fouled on the floor. Another foul on Brandon Bunn. That's too quick.
Nah. They better not be doing this to me, Sean. I loved the way that first half, the pace of the game was really quick. They allowed both teams to play, and I thought every foul that needed to be called got called in that first half, and it never got out of hand because they let them play more, nothing like that. So let's not start getting ticky-tack here.
Clay into the lane. Outside Collins for 3. Good rotation, off iron. Ball loose. Alcindor the rebound. Nielsen-Skinner racing up the floor. Greeley, top of the key. Hunter Sipe, back to Skinny. 17:45 and counting. Skinny gets instruction from Coach Landon. Greeley to Bunn. 8 to shoot. Cranston on him. Bunn the step back 3. Good. 7-point lead for St. Martin's.
That's what you need in the early part of the half to get the crowd locked back in, because it's kind of, everybody's getting snacks, everybody's going to the bathroom doing that stuff. They kind of get lost, but when you have a big play and a nice step back, pretty move, gets everybody locked right back into it.
Clay, jumper is down. 49-44, 5-point ball game.
I feel like almost every open shot we've seen go down. Like, every shot missed, even though there's been a fair amount of them, they've just been really good, as that was almost a great find by Shaquem Alcindor.
Good fought, but the defense there for the Wolves. Collins to Moriel Keeler. Yosani Clay. Off the screen, the jumper from 16, short. He wants the foul, doesn't get it. Nobody gets the rebound, it goes to Moriel Keeler. He has it poked away. Clay recovers. They reset. Collins out top. Oh, he was open in the lane.
Yeah, that pick and roll.
Attacking the right side of the lane and the rack. Collins makes it 49-46 Saints. Bunn, nifty dribbling.
That Collins play was over Shaquem Alcindor, not easy.
Greeley, left-hand dribble to the rack, the scoop, and score.
Also, not an easy shot. These guys are making some, their layups. As this ref, he likes to take a second before pointing his way, leaves us in suspense. But there are some really skillful finishes and some beautiful touches off glass early in the second half.
15:50 left, 51-46 Saints. Back after this on the Saints Digital Network. A little Sweet Caroline, always a favorite at any sporting events. Neil Diamond, after the timeout, Wolves ball. Cranston nearly throws it away, and it is a turnover as Clay steps out of bounds. Not how Wes Pfeiffer drew it up for Western Oregon. Sean Wally with Scott Gladstone, and another turnover. Back-to-back turnovers by each team. Western Oregon down 5. They can cut into the deficit here with a bucket. Yosani Clay double teamed. Moriel Keeler. Hands off. Collins. Cranston back to Collins. 6 to shoot. Moriel Keeler bumped in the lane. His jumper off window, no. Rebound to the Wolves. Back up and in. Collins the bucket. 3-point ball game.
That's just inexcusable. You cannot have an offensive rebound there. The Saints had position. I don't know how they didn't get the board.
Sipe misses the 3. Rebounds to Benzel and the Wolves. Collins slows it down. Hands to Cranston. As all of Lacey Washington learned in March, Cranston is a lefty. Benzel down low. The strip by Sipe, and it went off of the Wolves. Thompson returns for the Saints. Bunn to the bench. .30 left in this one. On paper, and so far here tonight, the GNAC battle of the night. Look at the pass to Greeley. Good vision by Tyke Thompson to Kyle Greeley.
That was a beautiful play. We have a problem right now. The scoreboard just went out.
And the officials finally notice. Coaches and players and staff at the scorer's table get their attention. So while they figure out who unplugged our scoreboard here at Marcus Pavilion, you know, I blame Sydney, our producer, and now we've lost power at the table, but it came back.
I think what Chris Gregg, our associate athletic director, is just down there doing the simplest plug it in, unplug it, plug it back in method.
Hey, there we go.
There we go. And now they're going to have to go to the review table to see if some time burned off. I mean, some time did, because the shot clock's at 17, so it went dead right before KG put that in. On that great play. It was a perfect pick and roll, and then the help came over to cover Tyke Thompson, who was rolling, or I mean, I guess he was popping more than rolling. And then as soon as the help came from KG's man, KG just cut right to the basket. Nobody was there to defend him, and then KG broke the scoreboard.
Well, Scott, we haven't had a lot of time to do it, and while we have a moment here, definitely a heavy heart all over St. Martin's and the Lacey community as Bob Grisham unfortunately and suddenly passed almost 2 weeks ago tomorrow. You know, you and I didn't know him all that well as we are new to the Saints family. I did meet him in March, obviously. That doesn't make it any less of a crushing blow.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of had the honor of being Bob's last hire before he retired, and it was already clear to me the 2 weeks that I worked with him and the interactions that I had with him over that time, but what I've seen over the past 2 weeks from the athletics department as a whole, from people outside the athletics department, and from the greater St. Martin's community, to me has just further shown his effect and his legacy on this school. And, you know, it's heartbreaking. It was hard. And, you know, I know that especially both basketball coaches, Aaron Landon and Christy Martin, have had a lot of emotions with it, obviously. And I know that Aaron, especially that first game back when they beat Western Washington up in Bellingham, that was a big game that they wanted to win, and they wanted to do it for Bob, and they did do that just a little over a week ago.
Oriel Keeler with the bucket inside 14 minutes to play. 53-50 Saints. Stokes wide open. His three, down and in. 6-point ball game.
Stokes isn't the most lethal shooter on this team, but Stokes can, if you give him too much space, he'll put it up and in. And that's really great defense from Hunter Sipe on a great offensive player in Cranston.
Cranston the miss, Saints the rebound. Skinny behind the back. Thompson, they go underneath. Hunter Sipe the quick turn and score. 8-point lead for St. Martin's.
If the Saints get another stop here and then score a bucket, you got to think Pfeiffer needs a timeout at that point. Any run of even just 5 straight points or anything like that is a critical run, and there's a great stop and a tightrope at the sideline by Skinny.
Good save. Skinny gets it to Greeley. Greeley in the lane, the block by Morrell Keeler. Tries to throw it off Greeley. It stays in bounds. Western Oregon on the run. Skinny with the swipe, but a foul is called.
Oh, that's a tough foul to get called right there. As the crowd, I mentioned in the first half when you saw that call that they disagreed with, where they said it was a shooting foul rather than a blocking foul, you saw the crowd get into it, and that was one of those momentum swingers. Maybe right here you allow the fans to get into it based off a call that on its surface goes against the Saints.
Hughes to the line for 2 shots. Dyson Hughes, the 6'3" senior from Inglewood, California. Makes the first. It's a 7-point ball game.
Yeah, I think I said it once in the first half. I started to say it a couple times before, we just were so back and forth. But there is no Seattle area guys on this Western Oregon team, which is very rare in GNAC play. And I mean, Western Washington as a whole, really. The only Washington native period on this team is Cameron Cranston. And that is of active players, I should say, as we get a foul for a push-off there, I believe, on Zach Moore.
.46 left, 7-point ball game. Saints in the lead, and they have the basketball.
Western Oregon putting the press on, nearly got a 10-second violation.
3 in the corner in front of the Saints bench, will not fall for Spencer, but the offensive rebound to Greeley. Greeley left hand in the lane, the fadeaway short. Ball tapped into the stands. It'll be Wolf basketball. 12:21 left.
They put that ball in the play pretty quick there. I don't know if it caught St. Martin's off guard a little bit.
Clay misses the jumper. Spencer to Thompson. Thompson gets it back from Stokes. Greeley inside 12 minutes to play now. Thompson for 3 in front of his own bench. No, look at Stokes skying for the rebounds and the layup that was all too easy. Saints out to a 9-point lead.
Ooh.
Jumper pops out, the miss by Hughes. Saints can extend to double digits. Greeley, left side of the lane, off window, ring around the rosy, down it goes. Wes Pfeiffer wants to talk things over as the Saints get the crowd into it. 62-51, St. Martin's in the lead. This is their largest lead of the night. Timeout on the floor, 11:17 left. Back in a second on the Saints Digital Network. Wolves basketball out of the timeout. We'll see what head coach Wes Pfeiffer drew up. His team trails by 11. Cranston in the lane, Skinny guarding him. Cranston gets it back. That's almost the exact spot he hit the game-winning 3 in March. That fadeaway blocked by Kyle Greeley.
Yeah, Kyle Greeley, I'm sure that coming up to this week, that play was fresh in his memory, and he's doing everything to make sure Cranston ain't getting no room to try and put one off.
Spencer, his shot partially rejected. Still an 11-point ball game. Wolves have 10 minutes and 30 seconds to get back in this one. Drive by Hughes, off balance, down to a 9-point lead for St. Martin's. Stokes to Greeley. Greeley bumped and fouled with 10:08 to play.
Yeah, I'm looking back at the stats. We're going to get a quick break. Let me get this in real quick. I'll tell you what, we got 10:08 left here with 10:55 left in that Western Oregon St. Martin's game. It was a Western Oregon lead that was up to 8 points. It's 9 points right now, and we know from that game that happened in the spring in March, anything can happen in these final 10, so you shouldn't go anywhere.
10:08 left. Timeout on the floor. We'll step aside. Be back on the other side of the timeout here on the Saints Digital Network. Back after the timeout, 62-53 Saints. They have the basketball. Sean Wally with Scott Gladstone here at Marcus Pavilion in Lacey, Washington in this GNAC sports battle. Nielsen Skinner. 4 to shoot. Spencer Will. Off iron. Basketball in the hands of the Wolves. Hughes loses it, and Greeley comes away with the turnover.
KG is looking on offense and defense phenomenal.
What a pass from Nielsen Skinner. The 3 missed by Spencer. Rebound, yet again, Western Oregon. If they get back in this game, it'll be from the help of their rebounding. Collins, baseline. Kicks it outside to Hughes. His jumper too strong. Nobody there for the rebound except St. Martin's. Player on the floor, no whistle. Nielsen Skinner drops the triple.
Yeah, he showed a little 3 to the student section there. They love hitting those big shots in front of the student section when we get late in the game.
12-point lead for the host St. Martin Saints. Hughes, the jumper from about 10 is good.
Silence, as it feels like, it goes from, massive eruption for one basket to pin drop, silence on the other side.
Stokes, guarded by Hughes. Outside Spencer. Back to Stokes. Nielsen Skinner with 8:10 left in this one. Kyle Greeley down low, has the size advantage. Bumping, no foul. Fade away, short. Tap up, won't go. Thompson can't get it to fall. Western Oregon on the run. Open for 3. No. Rebound to Zach Moore. Another 3 up. That one falls.
I think it was Frinky there that hit that one.
Carson Frinky indeed. 65-57.
Another second chance point right there. There are 3 more second chance points, I should say, off that offensive rebound.
Stokes in front of his own bench to Thompson. Thompson has the size advantage on Hughes. He's going to use it. Spins baseline. Bucket good.
I mean, that's what you do. I mean, if you get a size advantage like that, Dyson Hughes at 6'3", and you got Tyke Thompson listed at 6'8", 5 inches will do that. I was just waiting for him to drop that right foot and go left side, and you know, when you just have that size advantage, it's going to be a lot harder for Hughes to try and get up there and contest or block that shot.
Frankie gets the loose ball. Hughes gets it back. His three, no. Look at the rebound. Skying above everybody as Collins put back good.
Offensive rebounding, that's the thing keeping Western Oregon is right now. You mentioned it already. They're all over the offensive glass.
They have 30 boards tonight, does Western Oregon. There's Western Oregon still shooting 49% as the Wolves commit a foul. That'll be on Zach Moore, the sophomore out of San Diego, California. .6:35 remaining. Saints 67, Wolves 59. Back after the timeout on the Saints Digital Network. Back here in Lacey, Washington, Sean Wally, Scott Gladstone, our entire Saints Digital Network crew, the St. Martin Saints and the Western Oregon Wolves in GNAC play, 67-59 Saints.
Look for Kyle Greeley. No, I thought they were going to treat on inbounds just to Kyle Greeley being guarded by Collins there, but they laid off it.
Skinny using his speed all the way to the rack, high, teardrop off the window.
That was a funky play they came out of the timeout with. It was almost like a trick play in football where Christian Hafner and I think Hunter Sipe kind of went loop-de-doop around from the free throw line, but it was all just a distraction for Skinny to get to the rack.
Collins, a three, off iron. Ball tapped out of bounds. Last touch by Western Oregon.
Yeah, we talked about the offensive rebounding. John Merrill Keeler is going to need to be a huge part of any potential comeback right now. He's the big guy on the floor right now, and the Saints don't necessarily have a true big. They have Tyke Thompson, the flex big that he is, and Hunter Sipe is the only other quote-unquote post, but he is an undersized true post if you're going to put him on a center like Merrill Keeler.
Hafner, nowhere to go. Finds Sipe, right back to Hafner. 4 to shoot, and he will. Hits the right side of the iron, and it goes out of bounds. Hunter Sipe says hello to some fans. 10-point ball game, 5:36 left.
That shot was, I mean, that was in a fan's lap, that shot. He was out there, but Christian Hafner, he's in this gym more than anybody else shooting three-pointers, so if anybody's going to put it down, it's him.
Clay to Muriel Keeler. Clay gets it right back. Clay to Cranston. He wants to bump the foul. He gets it.
Wow.
Count it.
Alley-oop and one right there. I mean, that was just Kyle Greeley trying to just get up and affect the pass in some way, and then he makes some contact, and Cranston just flings something up there, and they're not going away easy.
The Wolves offensively in this second half, they've gone away from Cranston. If they're going to get back in this one, he's got to be 1 and 1A on their options.
Yeah, they need to be. They need to continue to attack the glass. They need to get offensive boards, and yeah, it needs to. The offense needs to run through Cranston on every possession.
You know, their guards are good, but you're also missing Myers. That doesn't help. And there is a triple from Tyke Thompson.
And the giveaway.
Muriel Keeler can't handle it.
Yeah, and they're asking for a foul right now on Tyke Thompson. I mean, he took some sort of hit and he went down, and that's the question that you have to ask now with the new flopping rules in men's basketball, which I feel like I talk about every game. But if he falls down there and looks at the ref for a foul, it's either a flop or it's a foul. But right there, the referee kind of cut the difference and said, all's fair, you made the three-pointer, now get up and work down the court and watch the other team turn it over.
Saints want to put this one away. Tyke Thompson said, call a foul now.
Yeah.
Drops the triple.
Yeah, I mean, that'll work. The turnover, he didn't even need to run down the whole court. And, you know, he had plenty of energy because they allowed him to rest there. And now let's see what he's got defensively as they force the turnover out of Cranston.
Ball was loose. Cranston on the floor. Possession arrow to St. Martin, so that is as good as a turnover.
Yeah, and I mentioned, you know, not having a quote-unquote true center. And Tyke Thompson is a unicorn in that fun way where he can guard a guy like Muriel Keeler, and you saw it there. Maybe a couple more pounds on Muriel Keeler, but Tyke Thompson can play him defensively solid and then come down and shoot some misses that turn into buckets. They called a foul there.
Really, the bucket and the foul. I saw two Western Oregon Wolves swipe at the basketball. Not sure where the contact was, but the Saints will take it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Kyle Greeley felt any contact. He went up like, you know, he was a hot knife through butter right there. But apparently something touched him, and he's going to get a chance to give the Saints their third consecutive three-point play. This one, the and one variety.
Inside 4 minutes left in Lacey, Washington. Wolves got some work to do. They trail 77-61. Cranston in front of his own bench, goes baseline, guarded by Sipe, finds Muriel Keeler. Off window, too strong. Rebound to Tyke Thompson and the Saints.
This is starting to feel good. It's 16 points with 3 minutes left. Nothing's impossible. That's Hunter Sipe. Oh, Jesus. Man, that's pretty. It's starting to feel real good for everybody in this gym, but especially those guys in white.
Fans loving it. Probably not nearly as good of a feeling on the visiting bench.
No, I mean, Wes Pfeiffer, he tweeted out this morning and popped up on my Twitter because when I was on the Saints Twitter posting something or something like that, he tweeted out, it's a business trip into enemy territory. Right now, business is not going very well.
3:30 left. It's all Saints here late second half. They're up 79-63. Back after this on the Saints Digital Network. 3:30 left here in Lacey, Washington, inside Marcus Pavilion. Thank you for joining us. Big GNAC battle starting to go the way of St. Martin's here late in this second half. They're up 79-64 after the free throw. Sean Wally with Scott Gladstone for the final 3:25.
Yeah, it's going to be a fairly hard press here in the final 3 minutes and 20 seconds. But the Saints, I mean, you have a veteran point guard like Jaden Nielsen-Skinner. A press isn't going to touch him that much unless it's really nifty. That was a great call. That was a hard call to make. Everybody on the stream probably saw it well, but there was a tug of the jersey on Christian Hafner, and he ran right through it. But the referee that had the angle to see that tug called it. And it's important because it held him down just enough where he couldn't get that pass.
Greeley down low, guarded by Hughes. Greeley. Jumper, rattles home, 81-64, Saints inside 3 minutes. What a fast-moving game.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. They let the teams play. They, allowed them. Ooh, that should have been a foul just the same way that Tyke three that he made should have been a foul. Looks like Skinny might have infringed upon Clay's shooting space there. But like we said, you're not getting fouls, so play through it, play physical. And we see, we've gotten, 10 total fouls this half? We had less than 10 maybe in the first. And teams are just playing well.
Good ball. Good baseline drive by Kyle Greeley. 2:15 left in this one. 3 out of the corner. Contested. Nice job by Carson Frankie.
Yeah, I just like that we're spending this game playing up and down the court rather than at the free throw line. I think that's rule number one here. And the Saints just bottled up this home momentum and took care of business.
4 to shoot. Thompson will. Ball finally comes down to the Wolves. 3 on the way. Foul is called as Valise will head to the line for 3 shots.
Yeah, that was nearly took off his wrist, I think, with that shot. Hunter Sipe came in there. Valise had no idea he was coming, and Sipe just tried to volley a ball, spike that one. Rather than, just take the block or at least contest from behind, and got lost in his wrist.
Before I forget, going back to Bob Grisham, I was very happy that, now that he's no longer with us, to the last time I got to see him, it was almost like it was meant to be. I was running camera at a Seattle U basketball game at Climate Pledge Arena, and former Saints coach Alex Pribble is on the Seattle U staff. I saw Pribble. We said our hellos and caught up for a second, and he goes, "Hey, Bob's here." I was like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, Bob's in the stands. He's like the only one up there." And at halftime, I was able to have a few moments to get Bob's attention, and he came down courtside, and we had a nice chat for a few minutes, and very happy I was able to do that.
Yeah, and
the whole Saints connection as well.
Well, and to just tie the bow on it, this is game number 1 of these guys wearing the BG patch. You can go look on Saints social media if you want to see it. It's also in the corner of our scoreboard graphic as Kyle Greeley puts the bow on this game. Want to know, I know I said that Aaron Landon said that Western game was really big because he wanted to win that one for Bob. I know he wants to do something special, continue to do something special for Bob and in his memory. And we'll get to talk to him after the game and hear some of his emotions. But he puts a lot of pressure on himself, Aaron Landon does, in general with this game, but even more so with, the emotions that have been here, and you can feel it in the crowd right here. This is huge for so many different reasons, but especially, to honor Bob.
Saints win this one 86-72 over Western Oregon. Coaches shake hands at midcourt. St. Martin's moves to 10-2 in conference, 18-4 overall. Western Oregon falls to 500 in conference, 6-6, and 9-10 overall.
I mean, this second half, there's a lot of things you can look at. The rebounding didn't change that much. Western Oregon continued to do solid in terms of their offensive rebounding, but you take a look at just those extra effort plays, the balls that were kind of volleyballed around a little bit, they ended up in the Saints' hands. They made some big shots, and then at the end of the day, Western Oregon was kind of at a point where they were looking for those options, and they have a couple key players that are out tonight, and of course that's a big part of it. But Cranston isn't kind of fully into that. I'm back. I'm preseason GNAC Player of the Year. I'm that dude. Still coming off the injury and trying to acclimate to, even though his minutes are back up, he's not necessarily that full-on Cranston that we know that you saw last year at the GNAC tournament. And then on the other side, the Saints have so many different weapons, so many guys that can sting you. I mean, it was everybody on this roster that came in, and that's what we do. I mean, every time our sports information assistant, Ibrahim Mustafa, writes a story, it's like 5 different players in double figures, 6 different players in double figures, and it seems like they outdo each other every day. This one, we had KG, Kyle Greeley with 24 points, Tyke with 19, and then Skinny and Sipe with 14 apiece. Just a great team effort.
Scott Gladstone will interview head coach Aaron Landon momentarily. And before you take off, you want to stick around for the interview, but also, if you're within driving distance, Lacey Olympia, Tutwater, get to O'Blarney's. The Saints, Coach Aaron Landon, some of the staff will be at O'Blarney's this evening. Come say hello, have your favorite beverage, some good food, and hang out with the Saints at O'Blarney's this evening. Coach Aaron Landon next with Scott Gladstone.
Scott Gladstone here with head men's basketball coach for St. Martin's University, Aaron Landon, for the Twin Star postgame report. Coach, this is a big game. A lot happening, of course. What did you say to the guys kind of before the game, just at least in terms of the maybe understanding what happened last year? Of course, this isn't your first time meeting since they upset you in the tournament, but kind of there's a lot going on. A lot of these guys were here. Kyle, who we'll talk to in a second, was here for that, and he offensively, defensively, they just seemed like they were not going to let this game get away from them.
Yeah, last year was brutal. But I mean, it's the same thing as any other game. It just happened to be in the postseason. It's one game. Move on. It's hard to do that. I was telling my dad this morning, I said, I just feel low because having them come into our gym, it just brings up all those memories. So I never feel good, when I see them or think about it. He said, well, I feel good. I was like, all right, that's enough for me. Tried to come in and, we talked a lot at shoot-around about how good they are. Cranston helps them get to another level. You just have to pay so much attention to them. And just makes so many incredible plays, you know, like off the pass, the and once, taking it out of the air, drawing the foul. Such a good player. So really talked that up yesterday. I came in the gym today and I said, hey, you know what? They are really good, and we're going to respect them, but we won down there for a reason. We didn't shoot it well, and we just defended great. We did a better job on the glass down there. They're a really good offensive rebounding team, so credit them on that, and that's an area we're constantly talking about.
One of the things about this, I kind of finished the broadcast with talking about one of the things for your squad. Seems like every time Ibrahim writes a new story, it's like 5 guys in double figures, 6 guys in double figures. There's so many weapons on this team, and we saw KG and Tyke take over in the second half, but I mean, Hunter Sipes out there, he puts in a grind all the time, plays guys that are bigger than him, you know, and there's so many different weapons that, you know, somebody's off the floor for a couple minutes, we're like, oh, that guy hasn't even been out there, and we're on a 10-0 run or something like that. How much of just a treat is it for you to have such a deep roster and so many guys that can score and play offensively, defensively, and in between?
We just have such good players that I mean this honestly. I feel like if they had a better head coach, we'd be so good. Just because they're so talented. I mean, we weren't even calling stuff tonight, and that's sort of been what we've been trying to do more of that. Like, don't manage the game, don't call stuff, and just let them play. These guys have now had some continuity and some time together to sort of build that chemistry. And that's my dream is to, you know, just let guys play and have fun offensively. And we just coach the defense, and we're getting closer to that. They had a really good offensive first half, and that's what we were talking about is, you know, just defending, and offensively we just sort of let them play. Guys are going to make shots some nights, and other guys are going to make shots other nights. And as long as we're unselfish, I don't care what we do offensively.
I gotta remember that, because there's a couple times when, you know, like there was a pick and roll with that pick and pop with Tyke, and then KG cut and was wide open, had an easy layup, and I thought that was a play you drew up.
Oh yeah, I draw up all the clean stuff like that.
I credited it to you when I was calling the game. I said, that was a nice play.
No,
so.
that wasn't Tyler. That was just me. No, those guys. That was just like, hey, if we're gonna pick and pop, because we have so many shooters, you know, if a guy pops and we're not gonna roll. You know, we get a lot of criticism sometimes from guys that want to see the ball go in. They want to see old-fashioned pick and roll. Yeah. It's like, well, we've got, you know, there's 4 teams in our beautiful country that make more threes a night than we do. So we're going to probably pop. And when we pop, we just got to make sure that we put pressure on the rim so that 5 guys defensively can't spread out. And so we had that, you know, great weak side cut by Kyle. That's a read. That's a 2 side. There's 2 guys on the opposite side. So Tyke pops. He draws somebody off the weak side. Kyle cuts. That's just a good read, just guys knowing how to play together.
Obviously, you know, I mentioned the emotions tonight with the Western Oregon coming in here, and you also got to drop the banner, which is, you know, kind of a milestone of a big achievement. And then, of course, the first home game since the tragic loss of Bob Grisham, former AD of St. Martin's University. He's somebody that hired you. He was a former men's basketball coach, and I remember, you know, you would drop some quotes that he had. I remember at the pre-game the preseason tip-off dinner when you talked about how he said you just got to be an Oreo cookie or something like that, and that was a good Bobism, I think. But just talk to me about the emotions of the last week for you, for your team. I know that especially that Western Washington game, you put a lot of pressure on that, or maybe not, but you wanted to win that one for Bob, and I'm assuming it was similar here and similar the rest of the season. All the guys wearing the patches on their jerseys. So just take me through some of the emotions.
Yeah, we got to figure out. They gave me a patch. I got one in here. It's like, we've started wearing suits again. I don't know if we're going to put it on a suit, but got to get this on a quarter zip or something. You know, Bob, if I talk about it too much, I'll probably just fall apart. So just talk about, you know, Bob as a coach. He really got what it was all about. Tonight we hung the banner too, and that's really special. And I think coaches understand the banner's really special, and you bring guys back later on in life, and they can show their kids, hey, I was on that team, and here's what happened that year. And I've been fortunate to be around incredible players that have hung, you know, now a banner here. We got 3 banners hanging at South Puget Sound, and I just feel like as much as the banners are incredible, and it's an honor to be up in the rafters with those other great teams, Bob knew, because he had coached, that coaching's, it's all about when you're losing. It's not about, the banner, you'll remember the championship, but I remember you guys talked about it at the table. We lost 3 games in early February. And, when I'm done coaching, I'll look at, those 3 games. I remember how it felt. And it's just you got all these guys in the room. What are we going to do? He was there. How do we fight through this? We got to figure this thing out. Those moments where you're together figuring it out, that makes coaching special. And this is just an awesome reward at the end. And Bob really, really understood that because he had so many of those nights where I'm sure he was up late trying to figure out, how do we fix this, or how do we come together? How do we, get this guy playing to his best ability? And that's, what you're going to miss when you're out of coaching as much as celebrating a win or a banner or something like that.
All right, Coach. Well, we'll hand it over to Kyle Greeley here. Real quick, this is our first time interviewing. What can you say about him as a player and what he means for this program? Talked about last year, what he was a part of, but also just in general, what does he add to this team?
I feel like I'm going to say the same exact thing I said about Tyke a couple weeks ago. He was coming off a week where we were on his head coaching him hard. We've coached Kyle really hard, especially in the last week, and he puts a lot of pressure on himself. So, it's twofold. You got your coaches on you, coaching you hard. He puts a lot of, pressure on himself to be great. We were 6-23 my first year. We were 2-10 in that weird shortened pandemic year.
But that don't count. I don't count.
Yeah, we don't count that. So let's just say if you only count the 6-23 year, Kyle was a Division I transfer, so he enters the transfer portal, and a million Division IIs are going to hit him up. Obviously, he had Tyke, his best friend, in our program. I don't know if I'm going to transfer to go play with my best friend if they're 6-23. You got to be a little bit weird. You got to be a different dude that's extremely self-confident or extremely stupid to jump on a train when it's 6-23. And so, as much success as we've had, and no matter what happens the rest of the way, when the games are all done, I'll just remember, I had a sicko that believed in me. I remember exactly where I was when I talked to him for the first time. I was in Oregon down in Arch Cape on the coast, and he called, and, I was wow, we're in the mix on D1 transfers, and we can't win a damn game. So having somebody that believes in you when you can't do anything right and other people that are on your roster don't believe in you, man, that's the most special thing ever. So his impact on the program goes so much farther than his, talents as an all-conference player and even hanging a banner, because before we hung the banner, we had to start winning games and put together a winning record. And before we could do that, we had to have some real talented guys just buy into what we were talking about. So I've just been real lucky. I got a long ways to go as a coach, but feels like, I'm ahead of where I actually am because I got all these studs that, get buckets, get stops. I thought he made some really good defensive plays tonight. There was a big one that he had on Cranston where he blocked the shot, a couple steals. So that's what we've been talking about. Super proud of him.
All right. Congrats, Coach. We'll see you next week for 2 big ones. Step in here. Yep, you're in a good spot there. All right, Kyle, it's the first time talking to you this year.
It is my first time up here.
Yeah, we've talked to a couple guys twice, but sometimes it seems almost that 15 points and a couple boards, a couple assists, that's just a regular for you. So it kind of raises the bar on what you need to do. Tonight, 24 points. You looked really good. You had some big stretches down. You made some great defensive plays. Just what was your mindset coming in? Because you were a part of this team last year that, had their season ended by Western Oregon, and that was one of those big emotions at play.
Yeah, no doubt. We had Brett Reed and Alex Schumacher last year, who were 2 huge scorers for us. So I was able to find some scoring opportunities last year, but the older I've gotten, I've realized how can I impact the game without scoring. So rebounding, whether it's just bringing my intensity up, the last few games have been a struggle, just being able to put the ball in the hole. So kind of have to reflect in the middle of the game and say, okay, how can I help my team if I'm not scoring so we can give us the best chance to win? Tonight I happened to be scoring, but, when I'm missing shots, we have guys that step up too. That's how good this team is. So, we have a very mature team, and that starts with Coach Landon, Coach Ty, and Coach West. So we're right behind them.
And your coach, right before he left there, Aaron, mentioned the defensive side. And I remember that specific block that you had on Cam Cranston. What the defensive side? You're somebody that kind of guards a lot of different players because you are a guard, but you're a lot bigger than you're a lot wider than Jaden Nielsen-Skinner, for example. So, kind of having to guard guys that are long guards, kind of like Cranston, up to maybe some quicker guards. What is your mentality on the defensive side of the ball to get up and make great defensive plays like that big block?
Well, first off, I got to talk about that block because Coach Ty and Coach Landon make fun of me all the time for not being athletic. So I'm going to clip that and send that to Coach Landon tonight.
Good.
But no, defense is that's how we're going to win games. I mean, we give up 39 points in the first half, giving up offensive rebounds. So we got to regroup, and that's kind of our identity. I think we're 18-4 now. But if we can't guard, we're not going to win games. And then nights like these and other games especially make it special when our offense is on too, when we're really guarding. So, yeah, I think I've been able to grow into being more versatile, being able to guard different positions. But so is a lot of our long wings on this team. So, we just got to keep improving and getting better on defense.
Big part about this team, and you're all returners from last year, is this Salem trio. And I mentioned that one play where it was a pick and pop with Tyke, and then you cut to the basket and got in there. I don't know if it was an and one or not, but you got in there, and it was just an easy look. Sometimes those plays, I mean, they just seemed so programmed into you three especially, and you guys lead the way a lot like you did last year at times. So just talk to me about how much fun is it for you to play with Skinny and Tyke and just be able to have those crafty plays. Next thing you're up double figures over a good Western Oregon team.
Yeah, it's a blast, man. I don't know how many childhood friends, especially Tyke, I've known him since third grade, can say that they're playing college basketball together. So it really is so much fun. In the course of a season, it's easy to get lost on that and not really realize how special that is. And tonight was one of those nights where we lean back on the AAU days where chemistry is a real thing. We just have that built. Skinny, and I feel so confident with him bringing up the ball, and just he knows where I'm usually going to be. And Tyke's the same way. It's just two very unselfish players that are really close friends of mine. So it's been fun. But that starts with Coach Landon and Coach Ty again, just putting confidence into each of us to make us go out there and be able to do that. Same thing with the rest of our players. But it really has been a blast, and it's fun to win some games while doing so.
Finally, this was step one in a really tricky part of your schedule, but also all three games at home, which is nice. So they're kind of a plus and a minus there. But you guys get SPU, who's maybe been skidding a little bit, but they're still one of the best teams in the conference. And then a week from today, almost exactly a week, we'll be tipping off MSUB versus you guys. When you look ahead to the next week, a little over 1 week from now, when the buzzer rings after the MSUB game, just what do you want to have happened? Kind of what do you want the team to be feeling after that buzzer rings?
On the back end of the league, every game in the league is so crucial, but now it's winning time. So every game is so important. You see Seattle Pacific just dropped 3 in a row, and I think they won in overtime against Simon Fraser. Yeah. Billings just won their last 3 games by a point or 2 each time. So those are uncontrollables. We just have to take each game one by one. We knew that we had to win tonight, and that would give us a good chance to be set up to take on the 2 top teams in the conference with us. And so we just got to take it game by game, take Seattle Pacific on Thursday, and try to win that one. But I know Coach Landon and Coach Ty will have a really good game plan for us. So we just got to execute it, keep our pride on defense, and just bring that effort.
All right, Kyle, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next week.
I appreciate it.
Let's jump Sean in here. Finish it off.
Jump Sean.
Jump
Am I getting
Sean.
beat up?
No. We're just getting ready to go to a Blarney's, I guess. Move a little bit that way, center us up here. Sean, we were hoping for an exciting finish. I'm sure
hard to top the one in March.
Yeah, it was hard to top that one, and I'm sure every single Saint fan, although it's fun to win like that, it's also fun to win by 14 points. You take a look at KG with 24 points and just all the weapons coming out down the stretch, and that's what makes this squad so dangerous. What did you like from the Saints tonight? And when you look ahead to the next week, SPU and MSUB here, 2 big games that are gonna decide whether another banner is hanging in this gym. What are you excited for those ones?
Well, the Saints did well at staying the course because they were getting out-rebounded big time. Western Oregon came out swinging in the first half, and it was a close game at halftime, just a 4-point ball game. And really, as Kyle told me off camera, he probably told you on camera, that Coach just said, basically that. Stay with it. Stay the course, and good things are going to happen. And they did. And really, Western Oregon wasn't at full strength. So it's tough to say how it would have gone had they had Myers, had they had Salinas, and they were missing 3 guys tonight. So, you still got to play the games. You can't give them points for that. You can't say, well, maybe you can wonder. But, yes, a win is a win, and injuries happen if guys were injured tonight for Western Oregon. And, guys are going to be nicked up as we move forward. And as you said, a big week for the Saints. I really like the scheduling where, they kind of get a break here and there. We get a break here and there.
Yep.
And now as we come
full throttle.
Exactly. Downhill, let's go. Run it back over and over, and let's see how this plays out between the Saints, MSUB, or maybe somebody getting streaky hot at the right time coming up from behind as well. You got to look in that rearview mirror too.
Yep, exactly. 6 games for most teams. 6 games to go in GNAC play. The Saints play SPU and then MSUB 1 week from tonight. As I said, they go to Alaska for both the Alaska schools, and then they're back here for the final week of the regular season. You can catch us for 2 games next week, 2 games in that final week, and it's going to be a fun one. It is going to be a blast to the finish. For now, you can catch us as well as head coach Aaron Landon over at O'Blarney's for the official Saints post game. For us, we're done. Final score 86-72 for all of us here at St. Martin's Athletics, including our stat man and basketball wizard Ibrahim Mustafa, our cameraman Zane Leposki. Wizard. Have you seen him input stats? Wizard. And play basketball. I played pickup against him last night. Zane Leposki on the camera, Sydney Henderson producing, and Sean Wally on color and play-by-play. My name's Scott Gladstone. We'll see you over at O'Blarney's or on next Thursday.